Rose is now in theaters, and it is the latest independent film, and I honestly had no idea what this movie was about. I went on a whim. I was like, it's an independent movie. It has a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's from the company Neon. So I was like, why not? Why not give it a shot? And for those of you that don't know what it's about, I will say this. It's about a singer who wants to go to Nashville because she has dreams of becoming a famous singer. But the problem is she has two kids, and she had them by the age of 18. So she is trying to balance her dream of being a singer whilst at the same time being a parent. And those two things don't always go together, especially in the music industry. So the film is essentially about the balance of those two, or the imbalance in the case of the main character. This movie, I have to say right off the bat, this movie was very interesting. I found myself very invested in the main character. I found her to be very realistic and very humane. I felt like there was a lot of attention to details with her character. The children were also surprisingly good. They weren't given that much, but I thought the acting here was good. I also think the filmmaking was top notch. I mean, the cinematography was spot on. It has that indie kind of filmmaking where it's like shaky camera was utilized a little bit, but it made sense. During the scenes where it was utilized, it made sense. The music was, of course, great. I think it was really good. I'm not even a country fan, honestly, but I think the country music was really good when utilized. The characters, again, are really interesting, but the thing is also they're very gray. There's no real black and white characters. It's the type of thing where that lead character, she does things that really frustrate you as a viewer, but she also does things that are really interesting. And at the same time, you want her to follow her dream and to be able to become a singer in Nashville. But at the same time, you also are like, oh man, she's not a good mother, at least in some cases. And again, I'm not spoiling anything, but it's just you go back and forth with the character, and I think those are always the best character studies when you just go back and forth with a character, and it's very fascinating. I think easily elevates this movie from above just a standard, music film, because we've seen this type of story before. But this movie, I would say, is kind of like A Star Is Born meets, I would honestly say, Florida Project. It just kind of reminded me of Florida Project, and I really dug that movie when it came out, and I do need to rewatch it. But this is a good movie. The filmmaking is top notch. The acting is really good. It does have some issues, though, and I'll get into that right now. I think that the last, I'd say, 10, 15 minutes, it kind of felt like Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, where there were just so many fake endings where it was like, okay, you can end here. Oh, okay, no. Okay, you can end here. Okay, no. That was my biggest issue, I would say. I also had an issue with the very beginning. It took me a little bit to get into the movie. Like, I thought the directing was a little bit bumpy. Maybe in retrospect, when I rewatched the movie, it wouldn't be the case. I know I've said that with a lot of movies, but hey, sometimes it's hard to lure in a viewer. And for me personally, the first 10, 15 minutes, it took a little bit. Once I got into the movie, of course, I really dug it. But that beginning part, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. The other thing is, and this isn't even a flaw of the movie, it's just for me personally, the accents are very thick. I had a really difficult time hearing what people were saying and just understanding. And that's my mistake, because I just have an issue with accents, but they were so thick that it was like, I'm like, geez, I wish they had subtitles, honestly, in the theater. And I hate subtitles, other than in foreign films. I just needed them. I really needed them. And again, that's not a flaw of the film. That's my flaw. But nonetheless, Wild Rose, it's a good movie. I don't think it's a wild time. Like, it's not a movie that is groundbreaking, but it is a movie that makes you think, if only for a little bit. And for me personally, I like thinking during a movie, and this movie, it did the trick. It's a well-acted movie. It's great filmmaking. It has a great soundtrack, and it does make you kind of realize that a movie like this doesn't really get that much attention. And it should, because I think there is an audience for this type of movie, and I would highly recommend Wild Rose. That's why, for me personally, I'm giving Wild Rose a 4 out of 5 star rating, which, for those who like a hot sauce rating, it's the good old Louisiana approved Crystal hot sauce. This is a good movie, and I feel as though not many people are going to check it out. And again, that's a shame, because you really should check it out. But guys, if you have seen Wild Rose, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you like it? Did you not? And what did you think of that ending? Again, comment section down below. And as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.